Good morning, all. Welcome back to Ajadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav series from Mommy's Musings. Today, let's meet an interesting person all the way up from western part of India. Yesterday, we saw a person from Andhra Pradesh, right? One famous lady, very great, very interesting lady. Today, let's go all the way up to western part from Gujarat. Okay. Before I introduce you to that person, let me ask you one question. Do you know by any chance whether we can get arrested or put behind the bars if we scold or tease any of the rulers in India currently, be it with the current political leaders or be it with the old and ancient kings and queens? No, right? Our laws are not that stringent. But interestingly, if you speak any bad word or if you tease this person or if you speak ill about this Indian ruler, in Poland, there are chances that you will be put behind the bars. Isn't it interesting? Hmm. Now, come. Now, let's go and meet this interesting character from our annals of Indian history, especially from Gujarat. He is none other than Shri Saheb Digvijay Singhji from Nawanagar of Gujarat. He was born as a prince to the Nawanagar estate, and he's the famous nephew of Ranjit Singh Ji, on whose name the current Ranji Trophy matches are being conducted. He is also very much interested in cricket. He is also, during his childhood or even during most of his youth time, there was nothing much that happened. He was enjoying his royalty status. He was enjoying his stardom, and he was getting trained to become a successor to the Nawanagar throne. He studied in England. He played for England county clubs. He's interested in cricket. He's interested in horse riding, and he's learning and he's getting guidance from his uncle Ranjit Singh Ji on all administrative manners. Then slowly, when his uncle had passed away, he had taken the Nawanagar throne as his successor, Ranjit Singh Ji's successor. Till that point of time, the story is very straightforward. Not much things have happened. But he's born and rooted in India, and his mentality, his these things are all have completely attuned to Indian principles and dharmas. He actually worked as a British military officer as well. He worked with NATO. He worked also with the UNO during that time itself, and all that stuff. Okay, but there came a day that is in 1942. Do you remember the year 1942? That's the time when the World War has already started, and before the World War II actually became a bigger war and got converted into World War II. Poland was invaded by Germany and USSR from the both the sides, and Polish people were left to run away from their country, and they started going hither and there. At that point of time in 1942, around 600 to 600 kids and 200 or 300 odd ladies were put on a ship by all the Polish husbands and fathers, and they told their kids and wives, saying, if at all, if we live through this war, if we see through this war, we'll come and find you out wherever you ship takes you. Please go to a country which we can give you asylum and which can take care of you during this crisis period. Imagine the grief each individual is carrying forward. Even a 2-year child doesn't know whether he'll be able to meet his father or not. Whenever I hear this story, my eyes will start welling up with tears. They don't know which country will give them asylum. They were left in the middle of the high oceans. Nothing can be done. They are just praying to the God. They went to all the African countries. Nobody gave them any refuge at that point of time. Finally, they came to Bombay. And the British Empire said, "No, I cannot give you refuge. I'm already fighting with the World War II, and the famine is raging in my country. So sorry, go back to some other country." Imagine the plight of all those people, small kids, elderly ladies, mothers. Where will they go? This news reached Gujarat all the way to Gujarat from Bombay. Then the king and the Nawanagar king at that point of time told sent a message to his military, and his military had gone in their boats to and met the captain of this ship in the high seas and directed them to Gujarat's coast. He built a little Poland for all these 800 odd refugees, 1,000 odd refugees in his Nawanagar. He's already working for British at that point of time. Believe me, British was not happy with this decision of his. But he said, "I believe in the golden words of India." That is, again, let us come back to our original golden words. Vasudhaiva Kutumbam. Every person, every other person deserves right to live. When they come to our house knocking at our doors, asking for asylum, it's our right to give them asylum. I will not be able to face God when I die if I don't give asylum to these people at this point of time with my happiness in my heart. So I'm going to give. He made a lot of personal sacrifices. He fought with the ruling government at that point of time. He gave asylum. And believe me, asylum doesn't mean just one little camp where all the people were thrown in and then food was distributed. No, he built a school for them. He got cooks all the way from Goa to Gujarat so that the cooks can cook the Polish delicacies for them. Because at that point of time in Gujarat and Goa, we have a lot of Dutch people. So he thought Dutch cuisine will more or less be equivalent to the Polish cuisine and the people can relish. He recreated the entire Poland for them in that small Nawanagar estate. A lot of people studied there, and I mean, they also undergone training in the martial arts, in using the different weapons, everything. Believe me, law. They studied law. Some people studied medicine. Even the ladies who came there learned a lot. After the World War II has ended, he he searched for all these people's near and dear ones, the male members of their families, and got them reunited. And these people went back and re-established their own country territories. And now Poland is what because of these 1,000 odd people. And one of these kids with whom you are seeing the photograph here, they had become the Prime Minister of Poland at a later date. Isn't it amazing? One person could save the lives of entire so many people. I mean, who will do all these things? Now you might say, yeah, he's a king. He might have a lot of resources. So what big deal in him doing it? I don't have that much resources. But friends, remember that was the time when famine was raging all over India. Even the richest of the rich were having problems finding their own food. Most of the richest people have abandoned India and gone to abroad, to England, so that they can survive the famine there. There is no famine there at that point of time. So every single piece of bread has become so costly. I mean, not the bread, the wheat, the rice. Despite all these hardships, he has given asylum to all these 1,000 people. Isn't it amazing? But we all forgot about him. That's the irony about it. Not many people apart from Jamnagar know what this guy is all about. Still, the Polish descendants, these Polish refugees do come down to Gujarat, I mean Jamnagar, to remember him once in every year. But entire India doesn't know about this noble man, his noble gestures. When this Ukraine-Russia war started happening, there are a lot of our residents who are living in, studying in Russia, studying in Ukraine, everywhere, right? And You know what happened? That Poland had opened its borders wide and accepted all the Indian people without even a single question. The moment they saw the Indian face, they didn't even check their passports or anything. They took the refugees. Why? That is when the social media started getting lot interested in this Maharaj, Saheb Digvijay Singhji, because that's when we people got to know about his story and his noble gestures. Isn't it shameful, my dear friends? Shouldn't we really forget all these noble people who had helped shaping India and who are standing tall and proud to testify the philosophy for which India is erected? Hmm? This is There are so many places in Poland that have, especially in Vasa city, which have been named on this Maharaj. He's called as Good Maharaja from India. You can see the Good Maharaja Square, two pictures from the square, which have been erected in his name. And the Polish High School in Vasa has been named after him, and they call that this Good Maharaja is the main benefactor of this Polish High School. Isn't it amazing, my dear friends? What do what do we learn? Tell me, forgetting our own noblemen who stood true to our golden words, which India represents even today. I mean, we ourselves are forgetting all those things. We are not doing any service. We are not following Ati Devo Bhava principles. We are not standing true to our own Vasudeva Kutumbam philosophy. So now think about it and listen. I mean, then let us talk about the life lessons which this person is giving it to us. He is such a noble person that irrespective of what he is undergoing through, how much ever personal loss he had to suffer, he gave asylum to all the refugees. How many of us are really doing it today? If suppose on the road we are going for a long drive, let us assume we see somebody is meeting with an accident. What do? We take a selfie with that at the accident site and post it on the social media. But we never really bother to call police or the hospital services, get him admitted into the hospital. Is this what we expected of us as a fellow human being? We're not supporting our fellow human beings. So, my dear friends, to cut the long story short, my life lesson from this person is that we should always help others in need. Helping hands are better than praying lips. Don't you all agree with me? Think about it. Let me know your thoughts and feelings about this person. Let us meet another interesting character from another part of India tomorrow in my Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav story series. Till then, stay happy and stay safe. Love from Suhasini Auntie. Bye bye.